Hi, thanks for joining me as we continue with this much loved fairy tale by Enid Blyton. If you've joined me already, we started this book in previous videos. The Faraway Tree collection by Enid Blyton. And we are on chapter 15. So make yourself comfortable and we'll continue with the next chapter that's called The Saucepan Man Goes to the Wrong Land. Mother and the children stared at the old saucepan man as he came in at the gate. He wore an extra large size saucepan for a hat, and as he came, he knocked two pans together and sang a nonsense song that went like this. 2 beans for a pudding, 2 cherries for a pie, 2 legs for a table, with a high diddle high. At the last high, he banged on the door with a saucepan, and Mother opened it. "Don't make such a noise," she said. "No, I haven't seen any boys," said the saucepan man, and he clashed his pans together so loudly that Mother jumped. Then he caught sight of the children and waved to them eagerly. "Oh, there you are. Moonface told me where you lived." "Whoever is he?" said Mother in wonder. "Children, is this old man all right?" "Oh yes," said Joe, hoping that Mother wouldn't ask them too many questions. "Can we take him into the garden and talk to him, Mother? He makes such a noise when he's indoors." "Very well," said Mother, who wanted to get on with her washing. "Take him along." "A song?" said the saucepan man obligingly. "Did you say you wanted a song, madam?" He began to sing again and crashed his pans in time to his song. 2 pigs for the pantry, 2 shoes for the horse, 2 hats for the tigers, pink ones, of course. The children hustled him out into the back garden. "That's a very, very silly song of yours," said Bessie loudly, right into his ear. "What's it called?" "It hasn't got a name," said the saucepan man. "I make it up as I go along. It's quite easy. Every line but the last one begins with the word to. I'm sorry you think it's silly." He looked rather offended. Then suddenly he smiled again and said, "I've come to ask you all to tea at my cottage." "Will Mr. What's-his-name be there?" asked Joe, who wasn't at all anxious to meet him again. "Yes, you'd better brush your hair," said the saucepan man, looking at Joe's untidy hair. "I said, will Mr. What's-his-name be there?" said Joe loudly. "Something in the air?" said the saucepan man, and he looked up anxiously. "Not a thunderstorm, you don't mean?" "No, I certainly don't mean a thunderstorm," said Joe with a small groan. "Yes, we'll come. We must ask Mother first, though." Mother said they could go, though she still didn't very much like the look of the old saucepan man. "Good day," she said to him as he went off with the children. He really was a most peculiar sight, but he had such a twinkly sort of face that the three children couldn't help liking him and trusting him. They soon came to the faraway tree and saw that Moonface had thought of a marvellous idea. He had borrowed Mother Washalot's biggest washing basket and let it down on a rope. Then, as soon as they were all safely in it, he and Silky meant to haul them up to save them the long, long climb. "That's a really good idea," said Joe, delighted, and they all climbed in. It was a bit difficult to get the saucepan man in too, but they managed at last, though he seemed to find it most uncomfortable to sit on his saucepans. "Up we go," shouted Joe as the basket swung upwards through the branches. It ran very smoothly, and the children enjoyed the strange ride. At last they came to a big branch and stepped out onto it. It was quite near Moonface's house at the top. Moonface was there, winding up the rope, a grin on his big, shining face. "How did you like that?" he asked. The saucepan man looked at him anxiously. "A cat?" he said. "Another cat? Dear me, I hope it won't escape into my land. I've got my mice there." "Now he'll go looking for cats again," said Bessie, and sure enough, with the saucepan man, began to peer here and there, calling, "Puss, puss, 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 puss." "Oh, never mind him," said Moonface. "Go on up the ladder. He wants you to go to tea with him in his funny saucepanny house." "Come on, saucepan man," called Joe. "If you want us to come to tea, we'd better go." The saucepan man heard. He stopped looking for the cats and ran up the ladder. With a bound he was through the hole in the cloud and right above. And no sooner had he gone out of sight than he began to yell, "Ooh, ow, ooh." The children listened in alarm. "Whatever's the matter with him?" said Joe. Crash, bang, clang, smash. He sounds as if he's rolling about on all of his kettles and his saucepans, said Bessie. What can he be doing? Ooh, ow, shouted the saucepan man above them. Stop it! Ow! Stop it! Somebody must be attacking him, cried Joe. He leapt up the ladder. Come on, everyone. We'll soon send any enemies off. He shot up the ladder, followed by Bessie, then Fanny, and then Moonface. And they all clambered through the hole in the clouds and stood in the land above. But oh my goodness me, it was no longer the land of the saucepan man, that tiny little cloud-edge country. It was now another land altogether. My land has gone, shrieked the saucepan man. I didn't know it had. This is somewhere else. Oh no. No wonder he said, oh no. The bit of flat field he was standing on suddenly gave a shiver like a jelly, and then just as suddenly tipped itself up so that it made a hill. The saucepan man rolled down it at top speed, and all of his pans clattering like milk churns on a railway station. This is the rocking land, said Moonface in dismay. Quick, come back to the ladder and get down the hole before we have forgotten where it is. Come on, saucepan man, come over here with us. A bus? Did you say? Shouted back the saucepan man, picking himself up and looking around. I can't see a bus. I'd like to catch one. Come here to us. To us. To us, shouted Joe in despair. The hole through the clouds is here. We must get back again quickly. The saucepan man began to run downhill to them, but the ground all around suddenly tipped backwards, and he and the children and Moonface found themselves running downhill away from the hole in the clouds where the precious ladder was. They tried to stop. They tried to walk back up the sudden hill, but the land tipped up all the more, and at last they couldn't stand up, but had to lie down. Then they began to roll downhill. How they rolled! Over and over and over again, with the saucepan man making a frightful clatter with all of his pans. Oh, ow, 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 cried everyone. We've lost the hole, shouted Joe. But before he could say any more, he bumped into a bush that knocked all the breath from out of him. Soon everyone lay in a heap at the bottom of the hill and tried to get back their breath. Now we're in a fix, said Bessie, dusting herself. What a very tiresome land to have got into. Does it do this sort of thing all the time, Moonface? Oh yes, said Moonface. It never stops. It heaves up here and then it sinks down there and rocks to and fro and to and fro and gives sudden little jerks. People do say there's a giant just underneath trying to throw the land off its back. There you have it. Chapter 15 of the Enchanted Wood from the Faraway Tree collection. I hope you found that enjoyable, and if you have missed any of the chapters, you can find them on my channel, and we shall continue very soon in the next video with chapter 16, and we'll find out what happened in the Rocking Land. Thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye for now.